Honda's Pilot is the big daddy of its crossover lineup, and it's bowing for 2023 with a new generation that's been redesigned from the ground up. What's up, folks? I'm Dave Undercoffler, editor-in-chief of Autolist.com, a sister company to CarGurus. The Pilot is Honda's 7 or 8 passenger, 3-row crossover, and we've got our hands on a preview of this all-new 4th generation model. It's got an all-new V6 engine, a redesigned look inside and out, and a new Trailsport version. So let's go take a look at it and see what Honda has in store. But before we do, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. And if you have a car to sell, you can do 100% of that online with CarGurus. You'll get offers sourced from our nationwide network of thousands of dealers, and we'll coordinate your car getting picked up and you getting paid. All right, let's take a look at the exterior. As you can tell, this has been completely redesigned for 2023. This new version does away with some of the rounded curves in the previous generation and goes for more of a rugged, boxy look, and there's some nice features built in. Behind this grille are active grille shutters for better fuel efficiency. If you look closely here, there's a camera here for the 360-degree camera system and a nice little washer built in to keep it clean in bad weather. You've also got LED daytime running lamps here. You've got this really large hood. Honda says this is actually the biggest hood they've ever made in a vehicle, for a little bit of trivia. And in keeping with the big theme, one of the largest Honda badges I've ever seen on one of their vehicles. The version you see here is the Elite. That's the top trim on the Pilot. So it has 20-inch alloy wheels. It's painted in this sort of silver and black look. Overall, the wheelbase on this Pilot is up about 3 inches over the previous generation, and the length is up about 3.5 inches. The design of the rear also has sort of that blockiness that Honda incorporated in the front. It's not as rounded as the previous generation. You've got LED tail lamps, much larger Pilot badging there in case you forget what you're driving. You also have these really nice chrome exhaust tips. That's a nice feature, gives a little bit of an upscale flair. Finally, at the back, like the front, you've got the 360-degree camera with this little nozzle. So overall, you can see that Honda worked hard to make this generation of Pilot more rugged and SUV-like. But what do you guys think? Do you like this new look, or do you prefer the previous outgoing generation of the Pilot? Let us know in the comments below. And if this isn't rugged enough and you're looking for something more trail-oriented, then you're going to want something like this. This is the Pilot TrailSport. It's an off-road oriented, more rugged version of the Pilot. It follows a recent trend of automakers making a little more rugged version of their crossovers. That's like the Ford Explorer Timberline or the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. On the Pilot, it gets you certain off-road goodies like a 1-inch lift, these unique 18-inch alloy wheels, more rugged tires, a retuned suspension and all-wheel drive system, and certain trim features around the interior and exterior. Underneath this version, there are steel skid plates with recovery hooks integrated into them. There's a TrailWatch exterior camera system that works at up to 15 miles per hour. And finally, a standard trailer hitch. Under the hood of the new Pilot is an all-new 3.5-liter V6 that makes 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. Front-wheel drive is standard on most models. All-wheel drive is optional, except on the Elite and this TrailSport, where all-wheel drive is standard. All Pilot models will have a 10-speed automatic transmission and a revised and updated all-wheel drive system that's now more sophisticated. It can divert up to 75% of the engine's power to the rear wheels, and of that, it can then split up to 100% to either of those two rear wheels. The Pilot will be rated to tow up to 5,000 pounds. Fuel economy numbers haven't been released yet, but we'll let you know when they are. Turning to the interior of the new Pilot, we're in a TrailSport model, but all of them are pretty much going to look like this. You've got a 9-inch color touchscreen infotainment system here. The base model will have a 7-inch screen there. You also have a configurable 7-inch display in the instrument panel. If you opt for the high-end Elite trim, that gets a fully configurable 10.2-inch display for the instrument panel. Finally, there's some other goodies I wanted to point out. At long last, Honda is offering a 360-degree camera. That's on the Elite and the TrailSport that we're in right now. You've got an optional panoramic moonroof on certain trims. And as you'd expect in a crossover like this, there are cubbies and cup holders galore. Honda says there are up to 14 cup holders throughout here. And you've got some really nice storage space up here. You've got a large center console down here. And there's some more in the back that we'll show you in a minute. The second row of seats also gets some nice little goodies I wanted to point out. For one, you've got your own climate control buttons down here. That's a nice feature to have. You also have a pair of USB inputs to keep your smartphones or whatever tablets you have back here charged. That's great if you're traveling, especially with kids. And there's a nice little feature built into the seat back here. There's a little pocket that's the perfect size for your smartphone rather than it falling all the way down inside the pocket here. That's a cool little trick. In terms of seating, Honda says that the second row legroom is up over the previous version of the Pilot. And another nice feature that I like is that these seat backs also recline. When it comes to how many people this car will carry, that depends on which trim level you choose. Base models, that's the Sport and the EXL, will have a bench seat right here that is split 40-20-40. So those are 8-passenger vehicles. This TrailSport seats 7 because it has 2 separate captain's chairs that you see here. The high-end Touring and Elite trims will actually seat 8. They do that by having 2 separate seats here and then a third seat in the middle that's actually removable and which you can store in a compartment underneath the floor of the trunk. 2 more things that I like about the size of this Pilot. For one, it's very easy to get to the rear seats with just the push of a button. Second, once you're back here, you do have plenty of space for people like myself who are 6'1" in each of these 3 rows. That's a nice feature, although I will say the wheel well down below does cut into the space for your feet. And finally, the plastics back here are really hard and a little bit uncomfortable for a long ride. At the back, Honda says that this Pilot has the most cargo space of any SUV it's ever built. These rear seats fold flat at just the pull of this lever, and there is cargo space beneath the load floor, although it's a little less in this TrailSport model because this TrailSport has a full-size spare tire underneath. All right, folks, there you have it, our first look at the all-new 2023 Honda Pilot. It's due to go on sale in December of 2022, and pricing will be announced closer to launch. So for reviews or listings of anything you're shopping for, be sure to check out CarGurus.com. And before you go, like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. We'll see you out there.